belt areas and in the south, that we emphasize and get people to wake up and realize that their safety is more important than any cow that the so-called that the Fulanis are going to be protecting in a land that doesn't belong to them. This is our land, our people. We need to protect our people. So that is where the discussion is. And of course, it's very good. We will go into detail about the man that Jean spoke about now, the Frenchman,
Levy.
Bernard-Henri Levy. And that is an indication that the world knows what is going on. And there's no harm in reiterating this point, but it drives home the point that we are saying that now we, the indigenous people, we must defend ourselves by all means. If the Fulanis are allowed to carry AK-47s to protect cows in our indigenous land, we must be able to defend ourselves. So we'll go to detail about that one. Thank you very much.
So welcome everyone again. I just realized that we actually were not live. We weren't quite there, but welcome everyone again. And this is Freedom from Nigeria. And today we're going to be talking about a very important subject, because at Freedom from Nigeria, what we do is to bring information together for you so that you understand the things that are going on in Nigeria. Frequently on the news, we have desperate information because they're all looked at individually, but here we bring it together for you. And today we have a great information, and as some of you already heard from Citizen AY talking about some of the things, we're going to be focusing on the West should sanction Nigeria for the genocide that is ongoing. And this is a book, The Will to See, by Bernard-Henri Levy, who did investigative reporting. Hello, CNN. Hello, AJ English. Hello, BBC, and all those world newspapers out there, magazines. Investigative reporting is required to be able to determine what's going on. But he did his investigative reporting, and we're going to be talking about what he presented to the US Congress regarding what's actually going on in Nigeria, and the fact that he called the government complicit. So we're going to look and see what's actually going on in Nigeria. What are independent sources talking about? Are they indicating that there's a genocide going on? Are they talking about jihadists? What about the US intelligence? What are they saying about it? Then we'll take a look to see what is actually going on. What does genocide look like, so that we can look at some of the numbers and we can look at things that the International Criminal Court is talking about, the UN and various other organizations. And then we will really hit upon, well, who are these perpetrators? Who are killing the Christians? Who are killing the moderate Muslims? Why is there certain pockets where this is happening? And then we'll also finally, we are going to talk about what you and I as indigenous Nigerians, and no, Hausa Fulani are not indigenous Nigerians. Hausas are indigenous. Fulanis arrived in the late 18th century. And in time, that means yesterday. So they are not indigenous to Nigeria. Yeah. And Hausa Fulani is a false narrative. There is no such tribe as Hausa Fulani. This is important for people to know. So as I said earlier, we have Citizen AY. Welcome, Citizen AY. We have Honorable Ogaraku, who is in the UK as well. Welcome, Honorable Ogaraku. So they're going to be the principal participants today. And we are going to we will also call on others who would provide, commentary to what's going on. We've got Balade, we've got Dr. Emeke Ofor, we've got Ruby, and we've got Chidi. And I know there's some other people who are struggling to come in, but are not able to come in, but we are going to get started. So I am going to let Citizen AY give a brief introduction again, and then I'll go to Honorable just on this topic. And let's just kind of stick with the topic without, going into the details so that we can kind of walk through that. But if you can kind of just talk a little bit about, is there genocide going on in Nigeria, Citizen AY? And then I'll come to you, Ogaraku, to give your perspective on that.
Thanks again, Jane. Good evening to you all. You're watching Citizen AY. What we are talking about tonight in association with Freedom from Nigeria is the central point. Is there genocide going on in Nigeria? I think it is patent. It is patently clear to everybody. It should be by now that there is no doubt no matter how much the Nigerian government is trying to hide this information, that we have, there's a clear case that genocide has been going on, and perhaps it's been going on for even a long time than we realized, as far back as 2015. We're going to state the case tonight. 2012, yes, of course, yes. So and that is what we're stating here, and we've been, it's been hidden by so many narratives. They're designed to hide it, to mask it, to make it look like it's really, they call it herder farmer clash. No, there is no farmer herder clash. The indigenous people own the land, the farmers, and the terrorists are using the cows as a means to come in and attack the farmers using AK-47 provided by the federal government. And the federal government disarms the farmers from using their own homemade arms. As we speak, there is plans to go into southwest, from what I understand, to actually take arms from people. So, but anyway, that is a clear case of preparing grounds for genocide. So there's genocide going on in continental Nigeria. There's no doubt about that. So I'll stop there for now. Thank you very much.
Okay, well, I'll come to Ogaraku. What are your thoughts on the subject? We're talking about the West should sanction Nigeria's genocide by Bernard Henry, where he also indicated that the government is complicit. Ogaraku, you need to unmute.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody on the forum. Thank you, all listeners worldwide. To state that there is genocide in Nigeria is not necessarily an announcement I'm making. It is a fact that is there for your verification. One renowned general in Nigeria once made it very clear to us that that is genocide and the military is complicit. I'm reporting General Theophilus Danjuma.
Danjuma, yeah.
There's no better way to say this.
And we will see that video a little later on.
You say what?
We'll see that video a little later on.
All right. We also see the former deputy manager of Central Bank, who told us clearly what has been going on. And how does this happen? Because the institution with the military is trying to cover up this. Sometimes their hideout is under even near their camps and near their barracks and near their where they're supposed to be, where people should call safe haven for the people. Instead of being safe haven for the people, it becomes safe haven for the terrorists.
Yep.
The funny thing is when people attack them, you see this military coming into their airs immediately. However, when they attack the people, you will not see them.
They're never around.
This is a clear sign of complicity, and this clear sign of organized genocide. I'm not making a new announcement. It's a fact that is there for you to verify. And the world community knew this and seems to not to be doing something much, much right. I want to announce to the world once again, putting my voice to that of many, to inform you that with the evidence of what the killings that have been going on from Borno down to Taraba, down to almost every part of Nigeria.
Kaduna has been heavily
it happened there. It's not even 2012, but that's when we started noticing.
Exactly. Probably back to 2009.
Exactly. Really, so it's not something new. And how come the government seems to claim incapable of doing something about this? How come? These are people who promised us security, stability, this and that. Over now, in fact, I had Obasanjo a few days ago. He said, if anybody expects more from Buhari, that person is making a mistake. But he has done his best. Whether his best is done enough for us or not is for us.
Well, if he is complicit.
Yes. So,
I'm just saying, Bernard Henry Levy is saying the government is complicit.
Exactly. So,
and we know that Buhari is Sharia Buhari, right? Okay.
So it's not a new announcement. We are confirming what is already in place for a good number of years now running, unfortunately. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. So given that we all feel that this is information that is known, that's where we're going to be talking about that indigenous Nigerians must arise and defend their land from Fulani invaders and jihadists. given the complicity of the government. And the government, if we were to look at it in the totality across all of Nigeria, we'll be talking about pretty much every government, right? Because if the federal government is not doing anything about it, are the state governments doing anything about it either? So as we are rushing into this 2020 election, which Ninas has called off because it renews this constitution that we implemented a constitutional force majeure back in 2020 and would continue to hold us hostage to the Fulani oligarchy and caliphate and given them time to be able to take over Nigeria. We need to be focusing on our attention on seeing the things that we must do. Because I don't think it's fair, for instance, for us to believe that all the international communities understand what's going on in Nigeria. We need to be putting that information out there. We need to be walking it into their offices. We need to be putting it into every, all the opportunity that we have to get the information to them. We need to make sure that they have seen the UN numbers, like the one that we have flashed up here, where it talks about that in Northeast Nigeria, insurgency has killed almost 350,000. Well, insurgency, I don't like that word. I prefer to have the word that is used, the jihadists, the Fulani herdsmen terrorists, who are the number 3 and number 4 terrorist group on the Global Terrorist Index. But again, let's move on and talk about the things that we're going to be talking about. Independent observers, including Bernard-Henri Levy, the government complicity in it, and crimes against humanity, who are the perpetrators, the actions that the West must take now. So we'll talk about that. The things that we want to see them do, and that's all of us will have that discussion. And then what the indigenous needs to do to protect themselves, okay? So let's dive into the very high level summary of what Bernard-Henri presented to the US Congress. Honorable, if you want to kind of go through this, that would be fine.
Yeah.
You can walk us through this.
Am I off? Yeah, okay. So the summary of the Brendan Henry Levy's inquiries. He said, 1, genocide is going on in Nigeria. 2, the Nigerian government is complicit in the genocide. 3, West should sanction Nigeria with targeted sanctions. The Nigerian government is not only tolerant, but complicit in the violence in the Nigeria. Levy told a press conference at the Haita Regency Hotel on October 27, where I, a congressman in the United States, I would study targeted and well-proportionate sanction against Nigeria, which encourages such crime. I accuse the regime of Muhammad Buhari of complicity of the Islamist Fulanis. It's clearly stated.
Those are very powerful words, right?
Very powerful.
Very powerful. Very and powerful. He's a French philosopher, right? That has taken upon himself to seek justice for all, right? And he was contacted by a Nigerian telling him about what was going on in Nigeria. And this, folks, this is not from years back. This presentation that he made was in October 27 of 2021. This is very recent. And I know that a lot of our people don't even know that this has happened, right? And this is where information dissemination amongst indigenous becomes incredibly important. This is huge. Yeah, this is huge because he came with documentation. And as we saw in the prior, in a beginning slide, the UN has identified what is going on. The others asking, is the government involved, right? And we've heard people actually saying the government involved, right, in this. And look, down here, the federal government is to establish 119 ranches in Benue, Taraba, and others in the Middle Belt. What are these ranches? Are these not, is this not Ruga? Is this not where they're bringing in foreign Fulani to take the land?
Yeah.
Okay, so again, this is powerful information, and we're calling on all indigenes, and we'll talk about this as we're going through. Reactions, Citizen AY, what are your reactions to this information?
Well, I mean, first thing to say is it's good to see that the noise that what they call noise that we've been making, we've been raising an alarm about this for quite a number of years collectively. You know, as Yorubas, as Igbos, as Middle Beltans, and collectively in various organizations that we have together, we've been clamoring. I remember at the time when we talked about the fact that we're saying, UN, do something. Your silence is killing us. UN, do something. All of these things.
Last year, right?
Last year. So we were there. So this is simply a confirmation or reconfirmation of what we've already been saying.
Yes.
Now, the key thing is this, to have it in words, written in stark words. And I say the words again. I accuse the regime of Muhammad Buhari of complicity of the Islamist Fulanis. I mean, that is open and shut. I have to say, this is damning evidence if one needs one. And we need to make sure that this is all over our social media in terms of whether or not we, the Southwest, me, the Southeast, this should be all over our news.
Belt, the South.
Exactly. We should be really blasting this news, making sure our people know. So that, because the reason why I'm saying that is because when the people are aware that their government has been accused of this complicity of the Islamist Fulanis, they will be emboldened to ensure that the steps they need to take to free themselves, that they go forward and do it, and they protect themselves. Why we're saying all of this is our people still have some kind of a belief in what you call a federal government of Nigeria, which we all know is a promulgation decree government, a military decree government. But by bringing down this kind of information to you, to us, or to the general public, we are hoping the awareness goes into the hinterlands so people can have a new understanding and a new urgency about the current situation that we all are in. Don't forget, in the Tiv community, about 2 million are living in IDP camps, chased away by these same Fulanis. And now we now have the confirmation that Muhammad Buhari is complicit of the complicity of the Islamist Fulanis in genocide. So again, and there's so many killings going on in Igbo land as well. And of course, now you also saw the Owo incident. Over 40 people were killed. 102 people were involved in it, and over 40 were killed. 60 are still in hospital in bad way. These are things we need to talk about. So there is no doubt that this is a confirmation of what we have been saying all along. We do hope that people will take that on board as something that we should share right now. And I will say, just to put a hashtag, with just put the words that you saw on the screen, put it on there and highlight the fact that the Muhammad Buhari is complicit in genocide. Those are the kind of things we should do. But anyway, I'll stop there for now. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, awesome. Now, Noah, I see that you've joined us. Are you able to speak where you are, Noah? Because we just want to get some reaction to, yes, we are educating our people. Are there others that we need to educate about this information? Because this is pretty damning information. And we're going to look at other damning information. And as we continue to ask the question, why isn't the West reacting? Right? We're going to need to continue. We're going to get to the section when we'll talk about what is the West doing, right? But for right now, let's talk about, with this information out here, should indigenes be doing something other than just sharing this amongst themselves? What else should they be doing? So I'd like to kind of hit it. Bolade, if you want to unmute and address, what should citizens be doing with this information besides, talking about it in their fair in Nigeria?
Yes. Good evening, everyone. It's great to be here talking to you again through this modern medium. For me, this thing started some time ago when I went back to Nigeria, and then we have Igbo friends, and my cousin saying, "Oh, the Igbo saying they're going again. You saying they're going again." I said, "What's the problem?" He says, "You don't know. You just hear. You don't know." I said, "All right." So I come over. I get a map on my phone saying, "Oduduwa Nation must stand." What are you talking about? Oduduwa Nation must stand. Then you look into all the things that have been going on. Boko Haram, who are they? How they knew them. Then one thing I found out was when Hillary Clinton was the foreign secretary for America, Boko Haram came around. Boko Haram were not prescribed. In fact, I think they encouraged Boko Haram at the time. So basically, what it is our friends, their friends, and what did they get up to? Because we're talking about this thing of the British and all that. They've all got their own interests in Nigeria that they would defend.
So can we kind of focus on talking about what the indigenes need to do with this information we have?
What the indigenes need to do
outside of Nigeria?
I think it was Governor Rufai who said it, or was somebody else. The Nigerian government army ain't providing security for us. So they should let the indigenes do it. And the indigenes should not be waiting for the government to say, you can now go and do that. No. They should be already getting organized, having their organizations, go and use their farmlands.
Sorry to interrupt, but I wanted to kind of focus on the message, the Bernard-Henri Levy information. What should the citizens do with that information outside of Nigeria? With the information that says that the Nigerian government is complicit and that there is genocide going on in Nigeria. What should indigenes do with that information?
I think indigenes outside Nigeria, I think we can write home and petition the government saying, well, look, we know what you're up to. It's not right. Could you desist? But then everybody has got to get on right and know we've all got to do something. It's not going to be down to a section over there. No. It's all of us, because we know back home our people are suffering, and we've got to be able to say, right, I know what I can do. I can give you some handout. There it is. Go and use it. And it might be that some people might have to break the law and now start supplying certain indigenes with
okay,
weapons.
Let's not go there, please. We do not we are not into any breaking of laws, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. So I'm going to move on and to really talk about some of the things that we're talking about that the indigenes can do with this information, because it's very important. We're going to have a section where we'll talk about this, but we want to be able to kind of hit on this. Okay, I see Dr. Emeka wants to make some comments as to what the indigenes can do with this information outside of Nigeria. Citizen AY has given us a brilliant rendition of what they can do inside of Nigeria, and we'll talk about some more of the other things that they can do. But Dr. Emeka, go ahead, you can unmute and talk to us about what should indigenes be doing with this information.
Thank you very much for organizing this live talk show, and I really appreciate it, and I appreciate everyone here. It's obvious what indigenes are supposed to do. They have to defend themselves. They have no other choice.
Right. Because we focus on what they should do with this information. We have
what they should do
with this information specifically.
Good. What they should do with this information is that it confirms what is actually going on in Nigeria. They too should educate themselves to understand that the government they have is not for them, that the government they have is complicit. They actually conniving with the Boko Haram, with the terrorists. Buhari himself said that a fight against Boko Haram is a fight against the North. And the Boko Haram they arrested, they call them repentant terrorists. Nigeria is now repenting terrorist. How can a nation repent terrorist? Okay. If I take you back to memory lane, there's a terrorist guy called Mutalab in 2009, Christmas Day bomber. He's from Kaduna State. from these people that Nigerians are having problem with right now. He was in a plane he's called underwear bomber.
Underwear bomber. Yeah.
He tried to explode himself with everybody in the plane, but thank God he failed. That young guy is serving a 3-term lifetime jail in the United States of America. If America could not repent terrorists, they put them in Guantanamo Bay. How come Nigeria is repenting terrorists and the whole world is sitting down watching? These terrorists, they repent them and enlist them in the Nigerian military, security forces, and deploy them to the south to be killing people. Who do you think that are killing people in the southern Nigeria?
Okay, thank you very much. We are going to move on. So let me address this issue of, citizen.
Oh, the network's gonna go again. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, can you hear Jean? I can't hear Jean.
No, we can't hear Jean. We can't hear Jean.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Jean,
we have to take.
Oh, there she goes.
Jean,
right.
there was some problem. We couldn't hear you. No, but none of us could hear you before as we were talking. It froze for some reason.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I did see that there was a freeze, but I thought it was coming from his side. But I just wanted to address this because, Citizen AY, you addressed the fact that of what we do in Nigeria, but it's very important.
Yes.
We need to look outside. It's not the responsibility of the world to actually know the details of what's going on. If we have taken the time, especially those of us in the diaspora, to educate our lawmakers. So everyone in the US, for instance, needs to be reaching out to their lawmakers in their state and making them aware, the House of Reps and the GOP, right? The senators and the House of Reps, making them aware of what's going on, because a lot of them don't really know this, right? Because this presentation would have been made to the security, and it's only a handful of senators that would be in there and a handful of representatives. What about the rest? We need to be sending this information out. They all have Twitter handles. They all have email addresses. They all have offices. It is our responsibility. Those in the UK, you need to be talking to the UK and saying, listen, we know that you supported these Fulanis and used them in the beginning, and it appears that you still are, because you're not doing anything, right? And we'll talk about that as to what they're doing. But it's up to us in Germany, in Asia, in other African countries, in Ghana, in South Africa, in Jamaica, everywhere that indigenes are. This information needs to be hitting the airwaves, needs to be hitting the radios, needs to be hitting the newspapers. You need to make commercials and put it on the network news. If they don't want to show it, you make a commercial that talks about it. 15 seconds, 10 seconds, and put it out there. Billboards. So that's what we need to do. So we're going to move on now. Excuse me a second. Let's talk about what are others saying. Let's take a look and see what others are saying. So Citizen AY, what are others saying? I've got some up here that you can kind of talk to, and we have a couple of slides. So that we can make sure that the world actually understands that it's not just Nigerians that are saying this, right?
Exactly. I mean, what we're looking at, thank you, Jean. We're looking at the write-up there. Nigeria described as world epicenter of jihadi violence, Christian persecution at catastrophic levels. These are statements being made by organizations outside, countries from Nigeria. And these are the kind of things that we as people must really take on. ICC prosecutor visits Nigeria to discuss war crimes against humanity with the Nigerian government, 2022, 4th of May 2022. These are obviously the things that we should really be making sure that within our diaspora committee, we are making this aware to our people, to embolden us, to empower us, and share this with, again, like Jean said, in the UK here, the MPs, our MPs, we should be flooding their emails and Twitter handles and all of that with this information. I certainly will be doing that. And I've done that before, although the MPs there, they tend to be having a ready-made answer of, right, okay, yes, we believe that Nigeria is a democracy, they are complying with rule of law, and they completely ignore the reality that we're talking about. But nonetheless, we will still continue, because it will be on record. The reason why we should continue to do this and talk to, and make them aware is that it will be on record, so that if they come and say, oh, we didn't know. No. You did know. We did give you the information, but you chose not to act on it. And those are the kind of things, when we see that happen, it is more likely that more of us will get involved in this struggle in diaspora and ensure that our people can get what they need to protect and defend themselves. Because this is what is going on is genocide. So you can see the discussions that's going on there. Even the ICC visited Nigeria, discussed war crimes and crimes against humanity with the government. I mean, this is shocking and sickening. So I want to urge you all to please let us not relent. These kind of things should be on all Twitter handles of all the organizations or all the people who are in government, senators in America, and in all the people, like, I don't know what they call them in Canada.
Elder's gone.
Okay, I'm not sure what happened. It looks like we lost him. So, okay, so what we're talking about is what are other independent organizations talking about? You know, the one that up here that says that CRA wants the ICC and the UN to urgently investigate Southern Kaduna genocide. We have seen a lot of things that's going on in Southern Kaduna, just like we have seen that's going on in the Benue State. We've seen that's going on in Taraba and the Middle Belt, where they are being displaced. But I think up to this point, we've had about over 6 million that have been displaced from their land, their farming land. Think about this for a minute. 6 million. So let's talk about some more of the other organizations, right? The independent observations that's going on. So Ogaraku, can you kind of walk us through this so that
Jean,
I know we lost you.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening. There seems to be a link seems to be dropping out for some reason, and I don't know. The connection is fine here, but it seems to be the I don't know. It's the Zoom link seems to be the one that's causing the problem. I'm not quite sure how to explain this, but I was talking and then suddenly it just dropped me out completely. Right. Then I had to I had to go and log in, and that's the second time it's happened now, and that's a bit of a concern because I cannot really to continue when that's happening is difficult because it breaks your flow and you cannot really. But anyway, let's carry on and see how we can. We'll go through this broadcast as best as we can. Ladies and gentlemen, those of you watching us on Oduduwati Radio Citizen AY, we do apologize for the break in transmission. We're not quite sure what's happening. There's a technical issue we're trying to address. We're going to be looking into that, but we will continue with the broadcast. Jean, go ahead. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Honorable, if you can walk us through some more of the independent observations on genocide of Nigerians, and then we'll look at some videos coming up of what international people are saying as to what's going on. Ogaraku.
Yes, I'm here. If you can see through this video, even in wartime, I don't think burials are carried out in this manner. Even in Ukraine, where we know that there is a serious invasion, I've not seen this type of mass grave and mass burial. The independent observer on genocide on Christians, a killing of Christians and burning of their churches in Nigeria have gone beyond international
rebuttal.
Okay? So UK lawmakers and world religious leaders letter to UK Minister for Africa, but where is the action? At least 3,400 Nigerian Christians killed.
Okay, we seem to be having another freeze. I'm not really sure why that is happening.
Exactly. That's what I mean. You see, you can see it's really,
3,000 abducted so far.
You're frozen. You're frozen again. Yeah, Gene is frozen again. So something is wrong. So ladies and gentlemen, just bear with us. Something is wrong. We're not quite sure. There is a technical issue. It may be that we may have to end this broadcast abruptly and come back and redo it at some point. Yeah. So Gene, are you there? Jean?
Yes, and there's something going on with
Yeah.
my live stream as well.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I think
yeah, I looked at it and it said it was healthy, so I'm not sure exactly what's going on.
Yeah, we need to be watching that. It could be, I'm not quite, well, anyway, there could be a myriad of things that I'm thinking of, but let us monitor it and see what's going on, because it seems to be, is the Zoom link, is it a secured thing? Because
yeah,
sometimes
it is secured, but I'm not sure why. It seems to be even like the stream link, seems to be, so I might have to kind of reach out to my providers, because I have, very powerful internet here. So it shouldn't be doing this. I might need to have a chat with them on that.
No, but good evening.
You're welcome, Stephen. How are you?
Yes, fine, thank you. I apologize for coming late.
We can only see your mouth, Stephen.
What do you say?
We can only see your mouth.
No, yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Can we identify every participant that's online just for security purposes?
Yeah, let's take a quick look.
Yeah.
See.
Let's see. Yeah, I don't see anyone here. Let's see. Hello, Sam. How are you? I'm just wanting to make sure that everyone, if we can have everyone, please come on video.
Just come on video for a second, please, so that we can, because the
Naomi,
link
if you can come on video. Sam, if you can come on video.
Yeah, just because the link twice, it's broken 3 times now.
Right.
And it really is not, it's not going to allow us to continue with this broadcast if we don't resolve that urgently. Good evening to you, my elder, Stephen Faleti.
Naomi and Sam, could you please come on video so that we can see who you are? Because if we remove you, you will not be able to come back in, and I would hate to remove someone that, that is Sam, Mel Samari. Could you please come on video?
Okay, that's fine. And then Naomi as well. Okay, I
cannot see them there. You guys are in the dark. I can't see.
Yeah, you got. Why are you in the dark for?
Guys, we need to be able to see you so we know what's
going on. We can see their face now. We can see their face now. Good evening.
Okay.
I think we can see. Yeah, and that's better. Good evening. Okay.
Well, sorry guys. It's just that sometimes we're having a lot of breaks today and not really sure what's going on with that.
Yeah.
Welcome, Sam. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're talking about honorable. You're talking about the
the numbers of killings and abductions and burning of churches and the silence of international community. This is really a letter written by the lawmakers to the Minister for Africa and asking where is the action.
Yeah, because one of the things that we're seeing, and that's the question, right? There's been a lot of petitions, there's been a lot of letters written, but we're not really seeing the action going on, right? So let's take a look at some videos. We're going to look at some of these videos that's talking about what is actually going on. So we're going to look at 3 videos that is going to be talking about what's actually going on in Nigeria. So give me a second so I can share the screen with those videos, because it's important for the world to know that we're not just the ones that are saying this, right? There's a lot of other people that are talking about what's going on, and the world needs to be paying attention. So here is, let me go ahead and share the first video. We're just going to kind of look at quickly a few of them, and then we will we'll kind of discuss what's going on. Okay, here we go.
Campaign of ethnic cleansing against Christians in Nigeria. One America's Neil McCabe has more from Washington.
National security expert Frank Gaffney told One American News that all over the world, people are targeted because they choose to follow Jesus Christ. But right now in Nigeria, it has become a slaughter.
Nigeria is in the midst of an incipient civil war in which both indigenous forces, some from far removed, who have in common what I call Sharia supremacism, are engaged in a ethno-religious cleansing of Nigeria
Gaffney said the ethno-religious attacks on Christians had many layers. One is geography, with the country's heavily Muslim northern states officially governed by Sharia law. It is also in the north where terrorist groups where Boko Haram and West African ISIS operate freely. Then there is also the local anti-Christian militia called Fulani. Roughly half of Nigeria's 200 million people are Christian, but they are clustered in the center of the country and along the Atlantic coastline. These Christian regions are also where the oil and natural resources are located, meaning that the anti-Christian jihad is fueled by a quest to seize these riches. Gaffney said the humanitarian crisis for Christians can no longer be ignored.
The trouble with this scenario is not only the bloodletting of innocent people simply because they follow Jesus Christ, but large numbers of those people will be fleeing the resultant mayhem.
The graduate of Georgetown's Foreign Service School said, the ongoing destruction of Nigerian Christians will go down as one of the worst genocides in history.
We're witnessing a persecution of Christians on a scale that makes what Pol Pot and Hitler and Stalin and Mao did in their day combined pale by comparison.
The human rights watchdog Open Doors USA ranked Nigeria as the 12th most hostile to Christians in their 2018 report. There was, quote, a seemingly constant violence, unquote, against Christians that so far this year has already cost hundreds of lives.
Okay. Now, this was information that was provided a few years ago, 2018. And in 2022, Nigeria is now the #1 most hostile place for Christians. Okay, so that's one video. Let me get to the next one. Again, we're talking about the independent views on what's actually going on in Nigeria. And this is important because the international community, as we talked about, need to understand that this is not just something that Nigerians are saying.
Warning that Al-Qaeda, ISIS, and other Islamic terror groups are now trying to take over parts of the continent's most populous nation. Major General Dagvin Anderson says Muslim terrorists have set their sights on Nigeria's southern and northwestern regions, and the U.S. is now sharing specific intelligence with the country.
So this intelligence sharing is absolutely vital, and we stay fully engaged with the government of Nigeria to provide them an understanding of what these terrorists are doing.
Their goal, eventually turn Nigeria into a Muslim country and force Christians who make up half the country's population to either leave or convert.
Christians are in the eye of the target, and they're coming after them.
And the numbers are staggering. August 6th, Muslims stormed 4 remote Christian villages in Kaduna State, killing 22 villagers. July 24th, 21 dead, scores injured, and several Christian homes destroyed by militants. July 19th, 19 people killed when assailants armed with guns and machetes attacked a wedding reception. And the list goes on. Leading human rights groups say what's going on in Nigeria is a genocide.
If you look at what's happened over the last 20 years, George, it's just a massive number of attacks against Christians. Look, 50 to 70,000 have been murdered.
For years, the main terror group was Boko Haram, which seeks to overthrow the government here and create an Islamic state.
They go after Christians and moderate Muslims. They push a hardline Muslim agenda. It is their intention to establish a caliphate and to just rid all of Nigeria and West Africa of any Western influence whatsoever.
Now, there's a new actor on the scene. In Nigeria's so-called Middle Belt region, where the Muslim North meets the Christian South, a terror group made up of Muslim Fulani herders are killing thousands of Christians. More than 1,400 Christians were hacked to death in just the first 7 months of 2020, by Fulani herders.
Unfortunately, the secular media are quite often biased and trying to present this as a tribal conflict rather than religious.
Nigeria's president, a Muslim, has so far done very little to stop the bloodshed. His police and army are also mostly made up of Muslims.
The attackers are never captured. They are not prosecuted. The security services respond very slowly. A full day can go on with attacks happening and no security shows up. And frequently, the government officials will provide cover.
Helpless and vulnerable to almost daily attacks, leading Catholic bishops are now urging Nigerian Christians to defend themselves. Human rights groups are asking the White House to appoint a special envoy to help end the persecution of Christians in Nigeria.
Unless the world takes note and puts pressure, economic pressure, sanctions, visa bans on the officials who are responsible for this travesty and for not reining in the terror, then Nigeria will continue to be a bloodbath.
Meanwhile, King's Group is helping more than 3,000 Christians who lost their businesses, homes, farms, or land to Boko Haram and Fulani militant attacks.
Okay. So I will now go to the third one. But as you can see, it's not just Bernard Henri Levy, right? This was back in 2020. They're calling for sanctions and special envoy as well. So Citizen AY, I'll let you kind of comment on that while I go to the third video, because I think this information, just bringing them together back to back, allows our people to really understand that we need to be forefront in pushing this information far and wide around the globe and not quit until our voices are heard. So Citizen AY, go ahead while I get ready.
I again, the video plus the Bernard Levy comment about genocide, it simply confirms again what many of us have been saying and reiterates that. Now, the thing I want to say about this is that in the end, we must take that collective action ourselves on ground in our own land. But of course, there's no harm in those of us who are in diaspora in getting this message packaged in a, and consistently sending them to all of the MPs, all of the senators. Keep sending this thing out, keep making sure that it is in their faces so that they know that we are not going to let them rest, because that is part of the strategy we'll need. It's good that we talk about it, but if we are making sure that they see that, look, even members of your own community are talking about this as well, you need to take action. That can be another strategy that will help, because all the while we are still putting pressure at home to make sure that our people now start resisting and pushing back by defending themselves. I mean, that is what I think we need to do.
Exactly, because they need to understand. I'm like, we've already talked about the government complicity, right? And all this video after video and all the newspapers coming from the independent sources are saying the same thing. So our people, they are talking about one Nigeria, where they have a government that is not one Nigeria face, but they're Fulani Jihadist face, Sharia face, right? And if we go back to history, all the way back to Usman Dan Fodio that came, in the late 18th century, right? When he got there, what did he try to do? He attacked the houses in the north, right? And killed the emirs. Then he attempted to come through the middle belt and they were stopped. Then I'm sure Citizen AY, remember when we talked about that they also attacked the Yorubas, right? Yes. And they were stopped. And so I'm not really sure how you bequeath something that you did not conquer, you don't own, to your descendants, or how anyone can have that mindset. Right? But even that narrative, right, Citizen AY, how can the world say that it's herder-farmer conflict when we know that Buhari, the Fulanis, are descendants of Usman Dan Fodio, and their stated purpose, that they have not made any, they're not hiding it, is that they want to Islamize Nigeria, but worse still, take it over for the Fulanis, as we will see in the Bala Mohammed interview, that we'll see that again. But I mean, this is very important for our people to know. That's why we're bringing it all together. So I'm going to go to that next video, the last one.
Whilst you're doing that, let me just quickly make a comment. The Nigerian government tell you to believe in one Nigeria. But isn't it interesting when they take the lives of the people in the community, they don't even keep the records. They're carrying out mass burial.
Absolutely.
Mass burial.
Absolutely.
That means, and they try to do the same thing in Owo now, and some people are saying, no, we want to bury our people back home. That's where they belong, and they're preventing them. That's how they see, indigenous people. They don't care about our lives, our belief system, our way of life, our culture, nothing. This one Nigeria is the imposition of this Islamic Fulani agenda at the expense of us, the indigenous people. And this is one of the reasons why I'm trying to make people be aware. Those of you who are in government, who are Southerners and Middle Beltons working with the government, this is what is being done to your people in the name of that religion and the Fulani agenda. This is why we are telling you all, the only solution is to break apart from these people because they want our land. It is shocking. I just wanted to state that there. Thank you very much.
Okay, let's watch this next one and then we'll give some people. I can see that it's disturbing, but this is the reason why we're putting this together and bringing this information together, right? Because these things happen at different times. And we're so busy running after the most recent horror. We had the train horror, then we had the church horror, then they abducted the Catholic priests who were freed, and then they made the revelation that some of the army was involved. They made the revelation that when the young people wanted to go over, the perpetrators, the army prevented them from going. So we've got so much horror going on, but if we don't bring together the fact that, what we're seeing, what we're not seeing, because the suppression of the actual numbers, which is why last year in 2021, the UN came up with new numbers for the Northeast. They were previously reporting like 35,000 in the Northeast, and they came back with 350,000 killed. That tells you how many are not being reported. So let's take a look here at this next video, and then we can continue chatting about it. But it is important for the world to see this in one place and understand what's going on.
Look at that.
Against Christians across northern Africa in recent weeks, mainly by Islamic radicals. The attacks include the killing of several hundred Christians in at least 3 African countries, from South Sudan to Cameroon. Towards one nation where the church is facing a serious threat is Nigeria. Muslims are waging an insurgency to try to overthrow the government and rid the country of Christians. Now, human rights groups are asking the White House to stop the carnage. After losing ground in Syria and Iraq, the top general of U.S. Special Operations Command in Africa is warning that Al-Qaeda, ISIS, and other Islamic terror groups are now trying to take over parts of the continent's most populous nation. Major General Dagvin Anderson.
Okay, as we can see, we have a concerted effort. And I'm going to come to Stephen Filati to make some comments about what we're talking about. These are independent sources. These are top level independent sources, intelligence in the US and around the world that are making these comments. We have Bernard Henri Levy. We've got the ICC, and we're going to see that shortly, what they're saying about, what's going on. But Stephen, let's come to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My question is, where is the Black Lives Matter in all this? Now, before I even go to Black Lives Matter, I cannot overestimate the British monarch's complicity in all these issues that we're discussing. And I just refuse to be silent. I'm not one to give any credit of superior aptitude to the Fulanis in carrying out these atrocities on their own. They couldn't have been able to do it without the continuing complicity of the British monarch and the British government. Somebody a few minutes ago just echoed White House. Before you get to White House, go to 10 Downing Street, Kensington Palace. Where is the British government in the midst of this? They held very recently, the British Parliament had a hearing on the Owo massacre. Before the Owo massacre, there have been several other massacres of a global notoriety. The point is, the British government needs to be taken to task on all these things. Why? For one of several reasons. Number one, Nigeria used to be, I'm sorry, let me take that back. Nigeria was not created by God. God created Yoruba land, God created Igbo land, and all the other ethnic groups. Then the British government, in the Lugadian experiment, decided to create a country called Nigeria to continue to foster its slave trade into what is now called Unilever. So the British government has a whole lot of questions to answer. Now that its creation has gone awry, that creation used to be a member of the British colony, of the British Empire. Nigeria used to be, I think so, a member of the British Commonwealth. Most of the development that have taken place in recent history in the United Kingdom were taken out of Nigeria. So my question is, why is the British government and the British monarch standing quiet? I know why, and it explains why the global community is silent. The global community is silent because the United Kingdom is a big power player in global politics. The United Kingdom is a permanent member of the United Nations Security Council. So if it winks at anything related to Nigeria, the rest of the UN community keeps quiet. Historically, and I can tell you affirmatively that the United States traditionally has deferred to the United Kingdom in all matters relating to sub-Saharan Africa and in particular Nigeria. So because of that policy standing, that's why the White House is not doing anything until the 10 Downing Street says something. And 10 Downing Street is pushing the narrative that it's a tribal conflict. No, it's not. We just need to take the British monarch to task. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, okay, let's hear from I think it's Bolade. Yes, Bolade, please. Yes, thank you. We can't hear you. On mute, please.
Okay.
Thank you very much, sir, by the way.
I'm here again. There's one thing I was trying to find out. Now, I haven't done this because I found it happening with South Africa. The banks down there have put the Black Africans in a precarious place where you cannot get money from the bank to do anything. So those same banks now do the same thing in Zimbabwe. But what I'm coming in with Nigeria is this. Did the British and their agents, when they left, what economic, social commerce apparatus did they leave in place? Because I bet they left in place something that is not in the benefit of Nigerians, but in the benefit of the British and the people acting for Britain. Because if you look at it, some people say, oh, Nigeria is working. It's great. Yes, it is great for those people who are towing that line. Anybody that's not in that group, it's not good for them.
Right. I don't believe that anyone is saying right now that things are going well for Nigeria, because they are not. Because we have 100 million Nigerians who are living in poverty. 100 million. And this has increased. What we used to have, maybe 30 million or less before Buhari came. He has driven over 60, close to 70 million people into poverty. And one wonders, I'm like, it's not really difficult to see. I don't know how many of you saw this, and I will bring it up before we end, where they spent 5.9 billion naira to educate 117 northern youth in fixing smart phones. That is enough money to send over 1,000 people to go to Oxford, to go to Harvard. I'm talking schools that are really, for 4 years, get their masters, get their PhDs, right? But they spend 5.9 billion. 5.9 billion. And I don't even want to talk about a political process, right? Where it's 100 million, right? It was 100 million to get an APC presidential ticket. 100 million people are dying of hunger, but the politicians are paying themselves exorbitant amounts and having 100 million just for the application form. And I don't even want to go into how much was paid to delegates to buy their votes. Now you know where that 5.9 billion is going, right? So this is what's going on in Nigeria. But let us continue with our program and talk about some more of the things that are going on, independent observations. We've got the human rights group that is decrying the Christian genocide going on in Nigeria. We've got another aid group that labels the persecution of Christians in Nigeria as a genocide. These are all things that are happening in 2022. So let's go to our next subject. Government complicity, right? Government complicity. We saw back when we talked about what Bernard Henri Levy had to say. He said, the Nigerian government is not only tolerant, but complicit in the violence in Nigeria. Levy told the press conference at the Hyatt Regency Hotel on October 27, 2021, where I, a congressman in the United States, I would study targeted and well-proportionate sanctions against the regime which encourages such crimes. He went on to say, I accuse the regime of Muhammad Buhari of complicity of this Islamist Fulanis. Okay, so we're talking about government complicity, right? And I'm just going to show some things. We talked about this. If you guys remember, in July 4 of 2018, this is Buhari through his minister, right? Giving land for ranching better than death.
Presidency.
Yes, this is from the presidency. This is in the vanguard.
And when they do death, we're mass buried.
Exactly.
Mass buried in our own land.
Exactly.
Oh man.
And then, as we mentioned earlier, Ruga was rejected by lawmakers, but in May of 2022, federal government to establish 119 ranches in Benue. So they're establishing this Benue, Taraba, and other ranches in the places where they have displaced the indigenes. So they have killed indigenes, and Buhari is now putting ranches on their land. Isn't that what that seems like?
Yep.
Like to me. Stephen, I see you've raised your hand. You can chat, and then I'm going to go ahead and show the video, the Ruga video, which is the roadmap of what the Fulani are wanting to do in Nigeria. This very glib and very disingenuous governor talking about pasteurization. What does pasteurization have to do with calling all Fulani, foreign Fulani, to come into Nigeria and possess the land of the indigenes? But I'll let you go ahead and speak, and we're going to take a look at a few other videos that talk about the government complicity. Go ahead.
Okay. Merely accusing the Nigerian government of complicity is actually glorifying them with a simple malfeasance. I will use the term continuing complicity in the sense that it's the Buhari government, Muhammad Buhari himself, that invented the atrocity in an attempt to win the election of 2015 by force. Yes. So continuing complicity is a better word, because essentially we cannot afford to forget history. Otherwise, we will repeat the mistakes of the past. Yep, Mohammed Buhari is the one who imported the Boko Haram in 2015 in a preemptive attempt to undermine the election of 2015 if he did not win. But then he won the election, and then they turned on him. So we need to put that in there, that the head of the government, and not just him as a person, also him as an agent of the caliphate. Mm-hmm. And what he started and he seems to have completed is what the current election is trying to put like what can I call it, a stamp of approval, just to round up now. So the government is not only complicit, the government invented the atrocity. Yeah. And it's now looking the other way. Its hands are tied. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. This is absolutely unbelievable, when we look at what's going on in Nigeria, right? And I'm going to show, we're going to be moving into some of the other areas that we're going to be talking about today that relates to, the complicity. So I would want to go to, I'm going to be going to some of the videos that we're going to be showing. We're going to show, when we're talking about government complicity, we're going to look at the Danjuma video. We are going to look at, the video that talks about the Fulani brought in to change the dynamics of Nigeria, and Shigami, what did he say? Federal government knows bandits' hideouts. The federal government knows the bandits' hideouts. And do you know who else actually said this? El Rufai. El Rufai also said that they know exactly where these bandits are. And I'm trying to remember the name of the governor that says, we know who these bandits are. They are Fulani, right? Mm-hmm. We showed that in our last broadcast. Yeah. Where the headline said that we know who these terrorists are, who these bandits are, they are Fulani. So all these kidnappers, bandits, unknown gunmen, they keep trying to use different names to describe Fulani militia, most of them not Nigerian. And we're going to hear that when we look at the video. But let's start the video talking about, we're going to look first at T.Y. Danjuma, then we're going to look at the one where the Fulani are saying that the government gave them the AK-47, and then we'll look at the one where they're changing the demographics. Again, we're trying to bring all this information together so that everyone can really understand what's going on. So it is easy for us to take note of what's actually happening so we know how we respond to it. So just give me a second while I start with the Danjuma, and then we will move on to the other three, and then we'll have a bit of a discussion. But again, this is a huge sharing opportunity for us to really understand what is going on. Okay, so here is a very short piece of this.
Is a mini state. It's a mini Nigeria, composed of various ethnic groups
assault. There's an attempt at ethnic cleansing in this state, and of course, in all the riverine states of Nigeria. We must resist it. We must stop it. Every one of us must rise up. The armed forces are not neutral. They collude. They collude. They collude with the armed bandits. They kill people, kill Nigerians. They facilitate their movements. They cover them. If you are depending on the armed forces to stop the killings, you will all die one by one. The ethnic cleansing must stop. In Taraba State, must stop in all the states of Nigeria. Otherwise, Somalia will be a child's play. I ask every one of you to be alert and defend your country, defend your territory, defend your state. You have nowhere else to go. You have nowhere else to go. God bless our country.
Wow. Those are very powerful words. And the sad part about it is that a lot of our people, Citizen AY, I see you're getting very emotional. A lot of our people don't even know this. It is coming from the highest level because he was a military man, right? So he knows.
He was part of the whole thing. He knows the ins and outs.
Exactly. And for him to speak up in 2018, indigenous Nigerians, it was at the risk of his own life. But if we don't disseminate this information to our own people and to the world at large, our people are still going to be thinking election when they're thinking genocide.
Yeah.
And by the way, Atiku is a Fulani, right? So the indigenes of Nigeria are not good enough and cannot be presidents in their own country. We have to have migrant foreign Fulanis ruling the indigenes of Nigeria. First Buhari for 8 years, and let's not even go back into the past in the military. So pretty much the indigenous Nigerians have been conquered, captured, hijacked by Fulanis. Because you saw the swapperoo that they did. I think you left APC and went to PDP so that they could now say it's a different party. And you've seen the mass resignation of the Fulanis out of APC as they run to PDP to leave Tinubu, who is supposedly a southern person, but still a Muslim, a lame duck.
Yeah. Let me add something to that commentary as well. Peter Obi has been told not to come to the north to campaign. Peter Obi has been told not to come to the north to campaign. Right. So what does that say about your one Nigeria? And he's not been told this. This is something that's been disseminated in the north that he must not.
The northern youth actually sent him a message. Yeah, the northern youth sent him. I'm trying to see if I can find out right quick. So I'm not sure that I have that. I don't think I have that. But the issue again is that we are not listening. We were not listening. This was in 2018 when T.Y. Danjuma, retired General T.Y. Danjuma, who should know, warned all of indigenous Nigerians to rise up and defend themselves. And since then, who else has said that? Citizen AY. Don't we have also Governor Autumn?
Yes, Governor Autumn.
Yes.
And in fact, he set it up. Now he set up a vigilante law, which he actually retweaked the law I've forgotten the governor's name. In 2000, he had the law. He reenacted that law to allow the vigilante laws to be in place in Benue. So Governor Autumn is actually championing his people and it's trying to arm the men and women and to defend themselves. And that is the essential message. And we mustn't tire of saying this. Let's listen to, have you got a statement, a video there?
No, I was just going to show, I was showing the headline.
So
because it
now
is important for us to know that, because this is part of what we're going to be telling our people, right?
Yeah.
When we get to the part, but we can talk about it now and talk about it then. What should indigenous Nigerians in the middle belt to south be saying to their governors?
Yeah.
Stephen, what should they be saying to their governors, given what's going on right now? Stephen, are you with us?
Yes, ma'am. Is my speaker?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Oh,
what should indigenes be telling their governors right now, given that Autumn, I think it was last year, signed in this law where the vigilante can carry weapons, right?
Yeah.
And what should the indigenes be saying to their governors and their lawmakers in their states right now?
The indigenes should be telling their governors and their lawmakers to emphatically do any and everything that is possible to arm themselves, to defend themselves, to remind the governors that the chief security officers of the state, their primary alliance is to the constituencies that are represented by those ethnicities, that there is no law anywhere that prevents indigenes and citizens from defending themselves with whatsoever they find handy to defend themselves against clear and present danger. Right. Yes. To add to that, within the ethnic Yoruba community, we actually have a petition drive going on now to write $1 million letters to all our leaders about this particular issue, to arm ourselves.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Then that's one of the things that we're going to be talking about, that every state in the middle belt to the south needs to be reaching out to their governors and insisting, demanding that they institute this law where the vigilante can have AK-47s at a minimum to be able to defend the people. And they need to put together farm guards, because the attack on farming is an act of war.
It is.
Because citizens are now, indigenous Nigerians, there's food cost scarcity. And when you have 100 million, where most of those were put into poverty by this Buhari regime, they don't even have the money to live. Now they won't even be able to scrounge for food. They can't go to the farms. I've heard lots of people telling me about their parents and their sisters and their farms where they cannot go to farm any longer so that they can drive starvation. This is war. So let's not kid ourselves. But what is the federal government saying? The federal government is not protecting the people. And we saw where the Minister for Defense told the people to defend themselves with what? They've gone around in southern Kaduna and disarmed the indigenes. They took away any kind of arms that they had. Their machetes. They took away everything, making them defenseless against these Fulani, Fulani terrorists. Boko Haram, ISIS, bandits, kidnappers. They disarmed them. They have disarmed the Southeast. And here they say Nigerians should not take arms illegally to defend themselves. Well, why don't they disarm the Fulani herdsmen? Why are they not disarming Boko Haram? Why are they not prosecuting them? Why are they rewarding them? And I'll let somebody else to have a chat. Ogaraku, let's talk about this. Let's talk about what Autumn has told the people to do to defend themselves. Ogaraku, are you there?
I think he's away. I think he's away.
Yeah, Citizen AY, you can go ahead. About
let me just, I want to hear
is talk about KAPAT.
Yeah. Okay. Noah, are you there? I'll talk about KAPAT. I will do. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, okay. Let's talk about defend yourself.
I will come and mention that.
Danjuma has said that. Autumn has said that. Melafia has said that. The pastor in Kaduna has said that. So what are your thoughts? What should we be telling our people? We've seen that the government is saying, oh, do not defend yourself illegally. Oh, really? Those people are carrying guns that the government gave them permission or is allowing them to carry because they have not told them to put down their arms. But they're telling the people, they're taking away arms from the people and rendering them defenseless. But Governor Autumn has stood up and said, we need to have arms in our security, which is what they call vigilante in Nigeria, in our security so that they can protect the people. Comment, please, Noah.
So what I think we can do with the calm approach that we are using is to, one, there is one strategy that works a lot. It is called the act of calling it is the law, it is in the constitution, that if your senator, because right now, let me take it from the top. For the 8 years, nobody ever talked about impeaching the president because the function of the government is to protect life and property, right? And if you are not doing your job, you can be impeached because you are the GCFR, right? Okay, now, who's supposed to impeach the president? The Senate, right? Okay, now the Senate are not doing their job. Okay, now come to the community. The community have the right to ask the senator to step down. Stop representing us if you cannot represent us well. Full stop. Now, let's come down again, projectizing. So we were able to raise 5 million petition, right? In the Yoruba nation, wherever. We can do it again, like in each senatorial district, maybe south or west. We list the name of the senators, petition. If you cannot represent us by putting security in place, ultimatum 21 days, we will start the process of bringing you down because you cannot represent us well.
I like that idea.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
from the middle belt to the south, are you listening? Middle belt to south, indigenous Nigerians, are you listening? Go ahead.
So because our own approach is not we want to fight. We can't win these guys if we want to fight to their level because they are more than prepared. We can only win them intellectually. So, and in doing that, our people in the front burner that are putting their face in the camera will protect them along the way because they will want to bounce back on people that are leading this type of squad because this strategy is a very, very crazy strategy. If we put it on ground, it will work, but we have to be use an formidable force. So it's not. We don't need to like stress ourselves too much. If we are serious enough, the whole country will bring them down in 2 seconds, like flip of light, boom.
And this is a strategy that we have been talking about.
Calling people out, we call them out.
Absolutely.
When you call them out, like these people are enjoying their Twitter handle, I go to the handle, people are still going there praising them. They are enjoying what they are doing to us.
Right. So governors, we cannot recall the governors, for instance, but citizens have the right, Balade. Citizens have the right. When to save themselves by any means necessary in Nigerian law, in international law, in African law. And right now, we are at that point of any means necessary. Right? Yeah. And so that means that the lawmakers, how many of you have seen lawmakers condemning the acts of the Fulani herdsmen? I think I've counted maybe less than 5.
They haven't.
So senators can be recalled. Okay. So my sisters and brothers, you need to, and Noah talked about the petition.
Yes, very good idea. On ground.
Single state that would demand that their senators put this security in place. Talk to the governor. They need to put it in place. They need to put in the law that Autumn has put in place. And if that doesn't happen in quick turnaround, there will be recall effort.
Yeah.
To recall every single one of them that do not act in the interest of the people. This is where the rubber is going to meet the road.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. This is where the rubber is going to meet the road.
Yeah.
And you know, we have that information, as we're saying, we have a consolidated place. But as we're going through, I wanted us to be talking about these things and telling people what they need to do. Okay. Yeah. They need to engage the politicians, engage the governors, engage the senators, engage the House of Rep, and make it clear enough is enough. I'm calling all women groups. All women groups. You're the ones that carried the pregnancy for 9 months and you know what you suffered. But all of them, this is time to rise up and go to your governors, go to your senators, go to your House of Rep, and demand protection for yourself and your children.
Yeah.
This is a time to do it. Citizen AY, over to you.
Right. Let me, Noah, I want to once again, I want to thank you very much for that brilliant initiative in stating that. I know it's been stated before, but no time like the present to mention this point. And this is something that will empower our communities on ground. And the key word is on ground. This is something that we should really work on. I mean, I'm going to be doing a special program on this a lot. And I'll probably bring everybody on board and we can talk about this and how we can actually drive this. Absolutely. Because it can be an engine to open up many doors. Because when people realize that those who are telling them, I'm your senator, I'm your House of Reps, I'm your this, I'm your that they have the power to actually recall them, and they exercise that power. For every time there's the killing, the petition is signed and the people can take them out that way. Absolutely. That can concentrate their minds.
Right.
I'm not saying it's going to solve it.
We can do that for senators and the House of Reps, but we cannot do that for governors.
No, we can't do it for governors. Yeah. Exactly. That's the pressure
on the senators and the House of Reps to go to the governors and make sure that this happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
But because
we have looked into this and talked to some Nigerian attorneys about what we can and cannot do with this, and that's why we're kind of talking about it now, and we'll see it in the last slide that we're going to talk about.
Let me quickly mention something before I go. There is something that I also want to mention quickly. You touched on it. Look, every community right now, whatever else we are doing, you need to have the Community Action Plan Against Terrorism. I call it KAPAT.
Yes.
Community Action Plan Against Terrorism. I call it KAPAT. Let me show you, if I can, let me just show you a quick thing about it so that you can actually, let me just share the screen for a second. And I want people to just see this quickly because it is very important. We're past the point of just talking. It's about action. And that action involves we making sure. Oh, 1 second. What's going on here? I'll come back to that. 1 second. Let me just
if you don't have it, just send it to me via WhatsApp and I'll pull it up.
So let me see if I can. I think I've got it. I just need to make sure it's going to show up on the screen. So I got it here. Oh, what's
so you can go and share.
Okay, that's what I'm going to try and do now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go right here, go in there, share screen. So share. So you just see it. So set up a community action plan against terrorism, KAPAT, urgently in the Middle Belt and South. So this is on top of making strong efforts to recall your senators and your House of Reps. But in any case, right now, we should be setting up this community action plan against terrorism. And that means that each of you in your community, once you start talking, and the beauty of that is this, nobody can control what you are doing within your community, because you're setting that up to save your lives. As we speak, we've seen truckloads of buses, I counted 5 or 6 buses of foreigners that were sent into Oyo State just yesterday. 5 or 6 buses of people that were howling. I mean, I don't know if I can even share the video. Just is to make you on Jean, I'm just going to share that video if I can locate it.
Yeah.
Because this is a point that we need to understand. This is not a joke. When we come on here and we're talking about this and we're raising awareness about this, it's because we know what is coming. We know what is down the tracks. And we want you all to not ignore the statements about the impending danger that will engulf us all. And don't think for a second that those of us who are in diaspora, oh, we're not bothered, we're okay. We are part of you. And whatever happens to you happens to us. That is an unbreakable bond. And we are trying to raise that awareness in our communities so that you need to know that the time to take action is now. It's no more stories. We're not interested in stories. Here we go. I think I got it. Yeah, I got it. I'll bring it up now. Because I want you to really understand the level, the danger that we're in. So right now, we need you all.
You can just stop sharing and then share what you need.
Yeah. Thank you. That's it. Thank you. Got it now. So this is it. That's the one. So now, and then share that. So let me go back in again, and you see come up now. So share. That's the one. I hope the volume comes up. Share. Okay, now. Okay, no problem. I'm going to show you the boss now. Now, he's speaking in Yoruba, but I want you to see this boss. I shared it earlier on. This boss,
we're not seeing the bus.
You're not? Okay,
no.
Let me go back again. Sorry, let me go back again. So share. So click on here. You should be able to see it now. Share. Can you see that now? Can you see?
All I can see is something that's dark. I don't see. Are you showing a video?
I'm showing a ski. I'm showing.
Here we go. Here we go. Here it comes.
You got it?
Okay.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. So now I'm going to play it now. And every single bus that you see is full of foreigners. About 6 or 7 buses full of foreigners, and they're howling in war howling. Listen now, you heard it. Oh, really, it's like a howl, and they're holding sticks. And I think on one of the cars, there's a guy with the AK-47. Watch, here it goes. Can you see that they're holding stuff there? Can you see
we can't. Okay, there we go. Yeah, there's a bit of a delay. Okay, go ahead.
At least
let me go back there. Can you see in the hands of the man over there?
No, there's a delay. There's a delay. So
okay, you see. Can you see? Is this guy holding what it looks like an AK-47 in his hand?
We can. Is that the one that is standing by the door?
Yes, standing by the door. It looks like, if you look at the hand, let's see if I can zoom it in. Can I go in? No, I can't. I'll have to take a picture and I'll try and blow that up.
Right.
But that looks like an AK-47 to me.
So, but these are buses.
These are buses. This is just yesterday. This is just yesterday. So, Jane, you see that I'm not really, because I'm processing the information in my head and I can't scream it out anymore. I need people to, you have to set up in your community, set up, community awareness. Sorry, I'm even got my words are even, I'm not even getting my words out because I can't even, get my, 1 second. I'll just get it right. Community action plan against terrorism. That's it. Yes. Community action plan against terrorism. So this is what we need to set up, because if we do not, these are what I just showed you now. That boss and this is they send buses to Lagos,
yes,
to Ondo State. They'll be sending.
Well, this was happening during the lockdown a few years ago.
Yes.
Okay. During the lockdown, there were tons and tons and tons of them, right? And these are the people that are now in the forest. Okay. And these are all young men and our magazine. Exactly. We don't see them on the street now because they're in the forest waiting to attack. Right?
But these ones they're actually moving them into towns now. They're moving them in. They're busting them in. This is just, like I said, this was just yesterday. Let me just show the video again.
Aláwọ̀ pọ̀ àwọn ọmọ ogun tó kó wọlé sọ̀rọ̀ state lélẹ́yìí at least nǹkan tó fi kó wọn ó wọ more than kínní ṣe pé wọ́n kóra wọn wọlé gan ni wọ́n kó wọn wọlé gan ni.
So did you hear the howling? Did you hear the howling?
Absolutely.
So when we're talking about this, when Jean is animated and I'm animated, and we're telling you all, yes, we are trying to give you as much information, but I think the time has now come. We have but a very short time. And you heard what my Lafayette said. By August 2022, they want to start a civil war. Everything is being put in place.
Yeah, they are coming in. They are
community action plan.
So let's talk about Ruga.
That's it. So let's put it there. That's it.
One of the pilots, but having seen that we are in that part of the savannah
there you go.
In Nigeria, and of course we have most of the pastoralists in our state, we indicated our intention or our interest in the program because we believe some of the mistrust and suspicion surrounding the very nice program could be switched. Of course, we will participate in a manner that will bring the best in terms of global best practice. We are engaging the Netherlands and other countries to come and help us do this in a manner that at least it will boost our economy. We have so many reserve land. So many forests
in the south.
Some of them are even being used by criminals, hooligans,
hooligans,
where some aspect of criminality has been provided by that forest that is called Lamebora Forest and the Yankari precincts. So outside the agitation or advocacy of the environmentalists and those that are more concerned with the fauna and flora, we'll be able to provide a salutary effect to the country because we have over 3,000 square kilometers of land that is in the savannah, in a lush vegetation that can be used for this kind of program, even to serve the nation. And while we are doing it as the federal government has conceived it, we want it to be private sector driven, and we'll bring those who are more familiar with it.
Okay, if you say, because I mean, everybody, we want to see that these killings end and there's peace and then people go about their businesses peacefully. Everybody wants to see that. But when you say that you want it to be private sector led, we understand that the government is going to provide 80% of the funding, the state to provide 20% and then provide the land.
Yeah.
How is that going to be private sector led?
The government have not released any cover for that purpose up to this moment, but we don't know since we have not been admitted into the program. But certainly we have been working very hard.
Did he answer the question?
No.
He said it was going to be private driven, but this is 100% Nigeria money that's going to be given to foreign Fulani. Continue to listen. I just wanted to point that out as we go along.
To see that because our people are mostly transhumans and that we have this vision to create an economic nucleus around livestock, and of course with all the value chain that we can get around livestock, the blood, the horn, the skin, and of course we will try more to cultivate that culture in our people, while at the same time bringing the Fulanis in one fold and try to.
Did you guys hear that?
Yeah.
They're bringing Fulanis in one fold. Fulanis in one fold.
Arrest their traditional practice of moving from one place to the other, and that is very big, an uphill task. But I think we can communicate with them more because to them they don't have borders from Cameroon to
They
Nigeria.
don't have borders.
How do we ensure that those who will be participating in this federal government largely funded program will be Nigerians?
In terms of the funding?
No, in terms of the
operations.
You said to bring in Fulanis together. Where Fulanis from other countries?
The issue of misconception, I see there is a lot of mistrust and misconception with regards to the Fulani man. The Fulani man is a global or an African person.
Wow.
From the Gambia, from
Yep.
Is there any international law? Why do they not just move all of them to the United States since they're a global human?
Exactly.
Let them move to, where is Antonio Guterres from? Let them move to Venezuela or move to Germany or the UK. They can move there, right? Because
that's what I thought.
Fulani's have citizenship. They're citizens of the world, right?
Yes,
so they should move someplace outside of Nigeria and West Africa for that matter.
Senegal, and his nationality is just a Fulani man. And as a person, I may have my relations in the Cameroon, but they are also Fulani men. I have relations because from the maternal side, I'm a Fulani man. And that is why we want to educate people. A Fulani man sees himself as a Bayelsa, as somebody coming from the Niger Delta, because he speaks the Delta language, which you and I don't.
So the new standard for you to be from a place is speaking the language. So does that then mean that all Nigerians that speak English should be able to come to the US or go to the UK or go to any English speaking country because they can speak the language and identify with that place? That's what this glib Takia man is talking about.
And of course, we would have to just take this as part of our own heritage, something that is nice.
Fulanis are not indigenous.
We cannot just close the border and say the Fulani man is just a Nigerian or this. No. In most cases, the crises are precipitated by those outside Nigeria. When there is a reprisal, it is not the Fulani man within Nigeria that causes it. It is that culture of getting revenge, which is embedded in the tradition of the Fulani man that attracts the present.
Why do we want these people in Nigeria? They have been reprising, displaced over 6 million people, killed over 500,000, moved over 400,000 refugees, and are continuing to kill on a daily basis. Why do we want these migrants in our country? Why? Why should we have them? Go ahead, Stephen.
I just wanted to,
because
yes,
I think that's pretty clear what they're trying to do here.
I'm just disgusted at the idiocy of these sheikh's comments that the Fulani is a global citizen.
Exactly.
When I noticed that they closed the borders in the south.
Yes.
So that goods and services and people, most likely Yoruba people from Benin Republic, will not be able to migrate into Nigeria.
Right.
But the borders of up north to Niger Republic, where all the Fulanis can come in.
But where is the farming? Where is the farming program for the people in Benue, for the people in the southeast and the southwest and the south that is funded 80% by the federal government and 20% by where is it for the Yorubas, the Igbos, the Ijos, the Tivs, the Igalas, the Birams, right? Where is this program for them? Why is it only Fulani that are allowed in? Doesn't the Yoruba people see themselves as one people?
Of course.
We should bring them all in from everywhere.
Oh, right? We've got a lot of them in Brazil. We just bring plane loads.
We are 300 million. We are 300
with government money, okay? With government money. So every Yoruba person, right? Every Igbo person must demand that their own governor, right, put together a program. The federal government must put together a program for the indigenes, for their farming, because they're destroying farms and building ranches. The federal government is going to put in 119 ranches, 119 paid fully by Nigerian money for foreign Fulani. And I'll keep saying this so that our people will understand. Fulanis do not come from Nigeria.
They
only came in Nigeria in the 18th century, the late 18th century.
That's correct.
And when they got here, Usman Dan Fodio started a jihad against the indigenous Nigerians. That is the history. And they have not stopped. They're trying to take over all of West Africa. And I'm not just saying this because we have seen the Ghana, the Ivory Coast, right? And they are right now with Buhari, they have 4 presidents. And they don't come from those places. 4 presidents in West Africa. And these are people who believe in reprisal and killing off indigenes. We have seen it. They have said it. Okay, so let us move on so that we can finish up today. But this is absolutely unbelievable. So I just want to, what I'm going to do next is to kind of go through quickly just the face of what genocide looks like, and then we'll talk about, we're going to focus then in the last 15 minutes on what the indigenous Nigerians need to do, which would include what was mentioned earlier, and we've talked about quite a bit about what we do with our politicians. So in Northeast alone, 350,000 killed. Deborah burned to death. What was the young man in Lagos that the Okada, the Fulani?
David Mo.
Exactly. Okay. And then we've got more. We had 4 churches that were burned down and scores killed in deadly Boko Haram attack on Christians, right? We've got at least 3,400 and 3,000 abducted so far in 2021. I mean, it is unending, right? It is unending. It is just on and on and on and on. So who are these perpetrators? US warns Nigeria about incoming Al-Qaeda terrorists. Jihadists seize military base in Northeast Nigeria. Fulani herdsmen carrying AK-47 and not Nigerians. Security alert over mass movement of Fulani herdsmen southwards. Guys, this is who we're talking about. Buhari and his kinsmen. That is who we are talking about. Now, let's talk about the West, because we're talking about Bernard-Henri Levy, who says that they should sanction Nigeria. Have they sanctioned Nigeria?
Sanction?
How have they responded so far? We have a slide.
Very excuses.
Yeah, we have a slide here to talk about what they have done instead of what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just asking.
I will just say one word.
Yeah, you can see it on the slide.
So okay, I see. Yeah, okay. Yeah, the UN chief backs integration of insurgents, calls it key to peace. How can Guterres come to us and tell us to support, to work with people, the very same people who are killing us? Is that not
But first
insane?
of all, are these not foreigners? These are foreigners.
They are foreigners.
How can the UN endorse bringing foreign terrorists into Nigeria? How?
It's just, this is beyond me. I'm for example, so he says, and they approve sale of arms worth 1 billion to Nigeria at the same place.
This was in 2022.
This is crazy. This is crazy. And and then they remove Nigeria from the list of religious violators. The same country, the same government carrying out genocide against its own people, they remove them from the list. So you can see.
Remember, the ICC in 2020 made it clear that the Nigerian armed forces has committed crimes against humanity that rises to the level of war crimes. The Levy investigation fingered the Nigerian government. Bernard-Henri Levy,
yes.
Government. Okay, so we have a convergence of understanding what is happening. Tell me, the US is providing intelligence to the Nigerian government, and the Nigerian government has not been able to foil any of these attacks that happen for hours, sometimes 8, 10, 12, 20 hours, but the government is not there. They're only there to prevent citizens from going after the perpetrators. That's when they arrive.
Yeah.
How is that possible? What about the narrative? Honorable Ogaraku, are you with us? What narrative are they pushing? And let's talk about this narrative, because this narrative is dangerous and it is complicity. Anyone, CNN, BBC, Al Jazeera English, Times of Israel, any newspaper, any news report that is using herder-farmer conflict is complicit.
Yeah, they know.
There is no such thing as herder-farmer conflict, because these herders do not have any legal right to the land. And the world is saying it's okay for criminals to murder rightful landowners. What if that happens in the US and the ranchers start killing the farmers because they want the farmers' land? How will the US government react? The UK. What is herder farmer? Who are these herders? These herders do not have rights to that land. So by saying this, it's
a false narrative.
Complicity.
Yeah.
It is absolute complicity. And we need to make sure that we communicate this clearly to the UN, to the US, to the UK.
And Jane,
go ahead.
Jane, let me add, this false narrative, here's where it's most damaging. It's so damaging because every single foreign press, that is the narrative that they carry.
Yes.
They say they had a farmer conflict. Yes. And they say that in the spaces where they can capture millions. So straight away, they're making it seem harmless or anything to the listeners. And that is why we are bringing this to the attention of people, to make people understand that they are playing a very dangerous game. Not playing, their intention is to ensure.
They are complicit. They are now complicit.
They are totally complicit in the genocide going on by those. The clear evidence is when they say
using that
other farmer. Yes. It is other farmer conflict. It's a key word to say go ahead and kill. We support you. They are giving tacit support because it is not herder farmer conflict at all. It is actually the herders invading the farmer's land. That's an invasion. Very different thing. But they don't want those words because those words they proved problematic for their narrative. But we have to expose that, and that's what I wanted to say. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, very dangerous. And I wanted to flash up. Go ahead, Stephen.
If I may interject very quickly to appreciate the magnitude of the British complicity. BBC World News has one of the most robust media infrastructure for a footprint in Nigeria. It has a BBC Yoruba, BBC Igbo, BBC Hausa.
Yes.
So it gets real-time data on all these things. When was the last time you found a BBC report on the atrocities? That tells a whole lot.
Yeah.
You won't hear from the CNNs of the world either, because they are direct beneficiaries of the generosity of Dangote's advertising budget.
Yeah.
So that's why
we have to be very, very clear that everything that we're seeing now, and we're trying to make people be aware that the West is complicit in the genocide going on. And I think there is no other way to say it than to just come up, and our people need to know. The people who are pretending to, they talk about democracy, they talk about all of this, they want to be partners, they are complicit. Let me add one more evidence that I want to put to buttress this point further. Please do not for 1 second think that the weapons that the Fulanis are getting, they are paying for it. No, it's not the payment, not at least in monetary terms. They are getting, it's a quid pro quo. They are giving our resources, the resources that belongs to you and I, the indigenous people. Yes. They're giving it to the Western powers in return for arms. Because the arms that the Fulanis are getting, latest weapons, is coming from the West. These are facts that people need to be aware of. So these are statements. What I'm saying is a statement of fact. Again, and I say finally, the biggest corruption going in the entire world that's going on now is the corruption of arms for resources. There's no record anywhere. there will be no record of how much resources they took, and how much weapons they gave. They won't keep those records. But that's the biggest corruption going. So, and these are the kind of things that our people need to understand about what is really going on. I'll pause there for now. Thank you very much, Jane. Go ahead.
Yeah. So again, 5.9.
Bolade wants to say something, if I may. Do you want to have a second? Sorry, Jane.
Yeah, that's
Bolade,
okay.
Go ahead. I can't hear you. You need to unmute yourself, please. Unmute.
Sorry about that. I was going to say one that I don't know how this fixes into those stuff. I was reading a story where they said they wanted to reevaluate the Naira, because that is a sham. That is one sham that's going on anyway. That was one that was wrecking us big time. So they were going to reevaluate the Naira, so the Naira should now be worth more. They know the Naira should be worth more, but they ain't going to do it. And then another one came out and said, oh, they are going to do away with the lower denominations of Naira. So that hits the people more. So if you haven't got to 105, you ain't got the Naira. Then you've got the e-Naira coming in. Who do you think all these things are going to benefit? They are going to be taking people's money away, and people are not going to be able to do nothing. Yeah, we haven't even heard about that one yet. We haven't even heard about that.
I've heard about the e-money. I've heard about that's something coming down the track, and we will talk about that a little bit more. And that is all. See, all of the plans are geared to ensure that they impoverish and subjugate the South, the Middle Belt, and the entire South. So this is why we are raising the alarm for our people, to ensure that they begin to provide themselves. You see, the best thing I suggest to our people right now, farming is the best way to get ourselves out of this crisis. And that is why the community action plan against terrorism is vital. Because if every community, if you can feed yourselves with your own food, what you grow, nobody can defeat you. Nobody, because you're sustaining yourself. But that is why they are killing and chasing the farmers away. They don't want the farmers to continue.
That is war. That is active war. Our people need to understand it's active war. It is war. And the war cannot say that they don't understand what's going on. World Bank, IMF, UN, EU,
they are all
UK,
complicit.
US, you know that is war. 100 million in poverty?
Yeah, that's war.
Seriously?
It's got to be war.
Okay, so the federal government spends $6.2 billion to train, equip Bauchi youth with smartphone repair skills.
Yeah, that's great.
Can somebody tell me why this woman, seriously, does she
6.2 billion naira.
I'm sorry. Can somebody do the math?
Let me just do something quickly.
Let's have somebody do the math.
I'll do that. 6.2 billion in dollars. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's just get that done. This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy.
We need to convert it.
Yeah.
We're talking about $106 million.
Yes. Exactly.
$106 million. Are we listening?
This is.
How much is 6.2 billion naira in dollars?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. 106. You know. It's crazy.
How much is 6.2 billion naira in dollars?
That she's just giving you the answer. It's 106. 106. 106.
$14.40. Wait.
Where is the equivalent for the South?
It's 14 million, they said. $14 million.
No,
we're talking 6.2 billion.
Billion.
Oh, 6.2 billion dollars. Yeah, you got it here. It says, what have I got? That's 14. Sorry. 14, then 3 6s. 14,000. I'm not good with figures.
Let's see. Maybe it's 10. Is it 10 million? 10.7?
No. It's 4. No, he's right. It's 4.9. It is 14. He's right. It is 14.926.
You're dividing it with what, though? What are you dividing it by?
Naira.
No, Naira.
Yeah, no. How much are you using? 580, 600?
No, I just asked the phone.
Okay. Let's see.
I just asked the phone.
Yeah.
Okay, so you asked the phone, how much is 6.2 billion naira, right?
Yeah, that's what I have to.
And it says it's 14 million.
Yes.
Do you know how much? And the government spent 1 billion, right? To make food for young children.
Nonsense.
6.2 billion. And feed how many people?
Exactly.
It's crazy.
And yet we have 100 million living in poverty. We just want to make up. Okay, guys, let's continue going so that we can talk. We really need to talk about what our people need to do, because we know what is going on. Again, on this program, we want to make sure that people understand what is going on and what they need to do. And as we showed earlier, the Akintoye and team had called on the US last year not to sell these arms to Nigeria because it was being used against the indigenes. That was made clear to them. And Bernard Henri Levy made this pitch to the US Congress that it was the government that was killing the people. They were complicit in it. So why in 2022 did they sell arms, 1 billion worth?
It's crazy.
To the Nigerian government. Again, Nigerians, indigenous Nigerians need to understand this. Fulanis are not indigenous to Nigeria. They're migrants, they're foreigners. So we're talking about colonization.
Yeah.
We're talking about apartheid. Okay. We're talking about genocide and jihad. This is all what the Fulanis with the British backers are doing in Nigeria today. Okay, so what do the people need to do? I'm just going to run through this. Okay, engage the politicians, shut down the 2023 elections, right?
Yeah.
Demand that all governors in affected killing areas sign the law.
About the vigilante law.
Vigilante law. And then let the senators and the House of Rep understand that if they do not put a security structure in place, they will be recalled.
Yeah.
Because we have the infrastructure to do so, and it is allowed. The governors might not be able to be recalled, but the senators and the House of Rep can be recalled. Then we need to engage everyone in a sphere of influence, meaning our families, our villages, those in the diaspora. It means everyone, your churches. It means your lawmakers. It means all the human rights and civil rights and Black Lives Matters. We have to go to them and explain it to them.
Yeah.
We got to sign the petitions, especially those in your blog, demanding referendum as a unit, unified from the Middle Belt to the South. Got to engage the international community. We got to open our purses to make some of these things happen. Got to get on social media. We need to have pamphlets, and we need to stop just talking about it.
Action. That's why I said community action plan against terrorism. Community.
We cannot. The vigilantes, right? We need to have. In the U.S. it's called neighborhood watch.
Yes.
We need to have the neighborhood watching out at night. We need to have these people where we take turns. And go ahead, Noah. Take turns
I need to
patrol and see what's coming in, right? Go ahead, Noah.
Yeah, so quick chip in. What we are saying and doing right now, the federal government, they set up a panel at a time. And the wife of the president was accusing the Nigerian army and the federal government that after they set up all the panel, they did investigation and they come up with two solutions, the civilians, the solution from the civilian aspect and the solution from the military. That till today, when she was speaking at the time, she said they never implement the recommendation, that it is the federal government that is behind it. Though I think I have the details somewhere. But what is the solution? There is a particular type of drone that can fly to a particular altitude that can fish out anybody and their activity in the in any bush or wherever, Sahel, wherever they are. That they make sure that they did not buy those equipment. Now, my question is this: can we take them to court, like federal government, and force them to put those recommendations into effect?
Unfortunately,
because for them to be able to have 1 billion to buy ammunition and stuff like that, because at this point we need to be dragging them, and the only way I think we can drag them is the court, because we cannot engage them one-on-one. I think I'm just asking because you guys know better than us.
I would say it's a good idea. I would say it's a good idea. Unfortunately, the reality is that just the case we took against them for the Ekiti elections, for example, to delay and actually hold all the elections, as they literally bounced that to the side, and they came up with a flimsy thing, and whereby they've now postponed that indefinitely. So
that's what they did.
They do not believe it. They do not. Yep. They tell us to comply with the rule of law. The very rule
they don't
of law
comply.
They don't comply. So,
well, this is a fraudulent government, and it's a fraudulent, court.
Yeah. So
a fraudulent court cannot dismiss itself, right? Because one of the things that the lawsuit by NINAS, which was previously Movement for No Nigeria, was against the 1999 Constitution, and they deferred it indefinitely since 2007, 2009. They deferred it indefinitely.
So that is
so again, I just wanted to let's kind of finish over here so that people understand what we're talking about, right? Okay. The International Criminal Court, the Nigerian Armed Forces, are just as bad as this Boko Haram, ISIS, etc. Because they're responsible for rape, war crimes. You guys listening? War crimes. And we have determined that all of this is happening against indigenous people in the Middle Belt to the south. War crimes against indigenous people from the Middle Belt to the south. War crimes, murder, and other things. Things that they're doing as unspeakable. So again, we indigenous Nigerians, and House of Fulani is not indigenous. We are the ancestral owners of the land. The Fulanis are visitors, migrants to our land.
Exactly.
And yet they have captured the ruling of Nigeria for an extended period of time. And look, about set to do it if we allow this 2023 election to go through with Atiku, who has conveniently split to PDP.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let us be clear on what is going on, and let us be clear as what we are called to do as a people. T.Y. Danjuma has called you. Autumn has called you. May Lafia, may he rest in peace, has called you.
Yep.
Right? So we need to have all the churches and the imams, right? And the mosques in the Middle Belt to the south, calling their people to defend themselves, to defend their inheritance, defend their land against these foreigners that are invading Nigeria. These are foreigners that are invading Nigeria, and the government is complicit. So do not expect the government to come to your help. They are the ones aiding. That's what T.Y. Danjuma says. They are aiding the bandits.
Yes, so they collude.
Let's talk about the helicopter.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that one.
Was used. Okay, Noah, go ahead. Let me find that story on the helicopter so that we can show it, Noah.
Okay.
The helicopter that was used against the people.
So another security measure is like all this to this particular meeting, we need to put it in black and white as a security measure on the security measure to counter the terrorism based on the AY's Operation something against
Community
terrorism.
Action Plan against terrorism.
Yes,
KAPAT.
Community Action Plan. I'm gonna jump on that project. I need to jump on that. I need to jump on that project.
I'll get you on board. I think I got you. We'll talk some more. I'll get some things drawn up, and we need to pull this up and really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because they already have what they call Amotekun or wherever next one they have, if they are loyal enough, joining them or not joining them. But one major recommendation we need to get is this laser. There's a particular gun that is called that has laser light.
Let's not talk about that, please. Anything to do with that, please. Let's not. Yeah,
okay. Thank you. Okay, yes. The helicopter thing, we too can have helicopter, but I don't think we can afford
No, I'm just talking about the fact that the helicopter was used.
Yeah, I know.
In Kaduna.
I know. I'm just saying to counter, because these guys, should they start their action plan of mass genocide in the West as we have been?
It's already started.
It started already.
It started. That's what we're talking about.
Okay, so then let's start selling the private jet that the churches have and be using it to buy security.
Well, that's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea.
What pastor is going to let you use his plane to do that?
I think, Noah, I think one of the things we'll say is...
What happens when the prostate enlarges in the urine channel?
So anything that what I would suggest is this. Anything in terms of security discussions, let's keep it off.
Yeah,
one thing. Okay. Secondly, what I would suggest is that, you see, in terms of those kind of things, it is not a realistic thing for us to expect that those people would willingly allow us to do that. But there are other means as well, again, that I would rather look at in terms of how the people can use what they have to get what they want, what they need. For example, there are things that we can do, and oftentimes it is those things that are more effective on ground. So whilst I liked, and I know it's the passion and the commitment to this project that is driving your suggestion. But that suggestion you came up with, the one I'll go back to that, the one where we talked about actually, recalling the senators. That's a brilliant one. That is something.
That's one that we have been talking about since last year, that we need to really get our people to do. And
on ground, and it's the people on ground that have to do it, and that would actually get them engaged.
Well, we need to help them with that, because that's why we
can help them. We need
to help them with that. Yeah,
well, absolutely, we will help them. But the thing is that the actual steps taken, because if the community gets energized in that process, then they will realize what is actually going on, and then it's much more easier for them to really do the defending themselves, which is what we want in the first place. Because it would expose to them when they realize that, when they see that actually they are now putting stops to try and stop them from even recalling the senator, then they realize that they're on their own and they have to defend themselves, and that is where it is going to get really. We need to. I'm certain about that, because many senators will say, "No, I'm not having that." They will start trying to pay off some people, start trying, and as they're being killed, that reality will come home that they have to unite under the KAPAT plan that I'm talking about and begin to defend themselves, because this is about people taking action. But you're right.
This was a plan that we discussed that would, if the political process continues to heat up, and if the killings don't subside, then that's when we're going to trigger that plan. Because like I said, we spoke to the attorneys last year to make sure who we can recall and if we can do this, and because we have to go through the INEC to do this, so we need to have folks who have their voters cards to be able to actually pull this off. Okay.
Indeed.
So, but these are things that I don't typically like to talk about at these meetings, and kind of we kind of like to keep them in. So Noah, I appreciate you bringing things up, but the things we don't want to bring out in the open, the things that we're planning to do. So
it's okay. I understand.
Okay, so let us kind of wrap up now. I'm going to give everyone a minute or less to wrap up, and that's going to be Stephen, Ogaraku, Noah, and Citizen AY. Let's start with Noah. Let's do a wrap up.
So the the wrap up that I'm just gonna say is we need to have kind of a budget or stipend for ways to protect the people that are putting their face on the camera. Because I keep repeating this. These guys are international assassinators. Eugene, you are there. You knew the group that they sent to the States against our rally. You are there. You know what I'm talking about. So when we are trying to protect the people at home, we need to protect. We need to make provision and protect and ready to rally around, like guide people that are putting their face on the camera. And I keep repeating this. So after this meeting, I'm going to call it why. These certain things I need to tell you too. So that is what I'm going to, because we cannot just be like, moving without making provision for backup. Because if you're going to call for backup, there must be a provision for it in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, there are, yeah, absolutely. We will have to, yeah, definitely. So, yeah, of course.
Because we love these people too much. Like, we even love them more than ourselves. And that is to a fault. Yeah. So that's my own.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. So next, can we bring in Ogaraku or Ruby? Would you like to say a few words before we go? Ruby, you've not said anything at all, Ruby. My sister, I can you want to say anything? No, Ruby. Can you unmute?
Yeah, I've been actually.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. I can hardly hear you now. Go ahead. Sorry, I was. Go ahead.
Although I've been listening, but problem with network. My network.
Okay.
My network is bad.
Okay. That's fine.
Can you hear
no
me?
problem. Yeah, we can hear you now. We can hear you now. We can hear you. If you can speak for a few minutes before we wrap up. Okay, I think his network is bad. That's okay, Ruby. We get that. Okay, let us hear from Alagba Ogaraku. Can you say a few words? I think he may have left. I'm not too sure. In that case, okay, let's hear from Bolade, my brother, and then we speak to an elder, Stephen Fality.
This thing we're doing or we're trying to do is it's got a lot of how I put it. Stages to it, but one which we in diaspora can do will be maybe calling out our home governments on the issues in Nigeria. Because I would say, especially with Britain, the UK, where I am, we should be able to, because the UK played a very prominent role in the whole history of Nigeria from inception, when it was created anyway, till now. So we should be able to go to the British and say, what's going on? Why is that going on? Because they know more than we do. So we should be able to go to them and say, right, what are you doing with this? Why is that going on? And how's it all going down?
Yeah. It's definitely worth looking into. We have taken steps and we're doing a lot of stuff. I don't know if there's a lot of rally and protests and emails. I've certainly, one of the things that I agree with you. I think all of us, again, I will reiterate, we need to write a lot of letters to our MPs locally. That's probably the first police point of call for us. And then get involved in the rally and then calling out the likes of Katrina Lang when she's talking to us about the unity of Nigeria when we know that it is not. So there's a lot of steps we need to take from that point of view. But I appreciate and I thank you very much for that comment.
Did they not say the ambassador to Nigeria went to some Durban in Kano?
Yes, that's correct.
They said they have the most horses in the world. I said, isn't it great? Isn't it great? We have all those horses.
Exactly. So all of this stuff that is just trying to sugarcoat and cover up what the atrocities, that's not going to work. We know. Thank you very much, my brother. Let's hear from Elder Stephen Fality, if you can say a few words before we wrap it up.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to emphasize that we need to reshape our narrative to bring to light the culpability of the British government and all the atrocities and its continuing complicity in the atrocities of the Fulanis. The atrocities did not happen out of thin air. It's part of the grand plan of the UK government to perpetuate its colonization strategy of Nigeria, only using the Fulanis as a proxy. And because the Fulanis themselves have an agenda to capture Nigeria and subjugate its citizens for their own, they are doing a tremendously notorious job at it. So we just need to change our narratives to prick the global audience's conscience that the power players are the UKs of the world. And UK, unless and until the UK starts to speak up, we don't see any abatement of the atrocities going on, or for that matter, any accountability for all the atrocities of the Fulani against the indigenous people of Nigeria. And unfortunately, as we all know, and I've emphasized on these programs, the Fulanis are a tribe of nomadic vagrants who are not indigenous to Nigeria. So any narrative that we are trying to secede, it's rather disingenuous coming from them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you. So I am going to just, we need to wrap up now, my brother Buhari. I know you'd like to say a few more things, but let's just wrap up. Thank you very much. I would just like to say, look, when all is said and done, please, I want you to have as a pressing concern the security and safety of our people. That primary responsibility of the government has been abandoned, and instead they've actually turned on our people. The onus is on us to awaken our people from their slumber, to defend themselves by any means necessary. I again put before the entire community of Yorubas and Middle Beltans and the Igbos and all of us from the Middle Belt to the South, that we must rapidly organize ourselves in our communities, set up the community action plan against terrorism that will be effective on ground. The only people that can talk are the people who are alive, and we need our people alive. The attacks in Owo has shown us the capacity of these people to do serious damage. If we just continue to talk without equipping our people with knowledge, giving them the knowledge and an ability to use what they have to get what they want and need, their land, we do not, this genocide will get worse. So I'm urgently calling on us all, please, let us get involved in this project. Let us encourage every community, set up a community action plan against terrorism. Yes, we also highlight that if the governors of the states now pass the vigilante laws, fantastic. But the community must take action themselves. We have to encourage them not to wait. They have to protect themselves. There are ways we can do things, but we're not going to talk about it on air. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you all very much. I think this has been very informative for our audience today. Bernard Henri Levy, thank you very much. He was very emphatic that the West should sanction Nigeria's genocide. He called it a genocide. He called the government complicit. And he is asking for sanctions, not guns to be sold to Nigeria. And so we've had the information from various independent sources about what's going on in Nigeria. There is a jihad. It is resulting in a genocide that is ongoing. Hundreds of thousands have been killed. Millions have been displaced. Over 100 million are being currently starved to death, while 6 billion naira is being spent on cell phone repair. And the government is putting in 119 ranches under Ruga that was rejected by Nigerian lawmakers, but they're going ahead to do it anyway. This Fulani government It's going ahead to put in 119 ranches in Benue, Taraba, where these Fulani terrorists, this Fulani herdsmen terrorists, are killing on a daily basis indigenous Nigerians, as you heard from T.Y. Danjuma, you've heard from Autumn, you've heard from Melafia, and you've seen in the news. He wants to put in 119 ranches with Nigeria money and bring in Zulum wants to integrate 35,000 repentant terrorists. Where did these terrorists come from? And what country has ever integrated terrorists successfully? None. And so the key takeaway here is indigenous Nigerians must arise and defend their land from Fulani invaders and jihadists. Indigenous Nigerians do not include Fulani. They are migrants. They are invading migrants. Everyone can go and look up the history of Usman Dan Fodio. They might have prevented history in Nigeria. Just Google Usman Dan Fodio, Dan Fodio, and the jihad of Usman Dan Fodio, and you will see what the intent is. As you can see, have mass killings, 142 people, 150 people, 42, 22 on a daily basis. Now, arise, indigenous Nigerians. You must defend your heritage. You must defend the future of your children. You must stand for the lives of the 100 million that they're trying to snuff out with starvation by destroying all those farms. And these local areas where these foreign Fulanis are hiding in the forest need to flush them out. If the government is not going to get rid of illegal immigrants, you need to protect yourself. The Nigerian law, the international law, the African law gives you permission to protect your life and property. These foreigners are coming in to take that from you, your life, the life of your children, the future of your children, your heritage, your freedoms, your money, everything that you have.
Yes.
So thank you all very much. And we'll be here again next week, bringing you, as we always do, these information pulled together so that you can see it in one place. So please, we ask that you will subscribe to all of our YouTube channels, that you send this information far and wide. Let it get down to the villages. They need to see that translated into your own language so that they can see this. And more importantly, at this point, you need to go to your governors and insist that they put a security plan in place, similar to what Autumn has done. And that these vigilantes must be indigenous to that area, not visitors, not migrants, not anyone from any place else. They must be from the people, from that particular land that we're talking about. So if it's Ondo we're talking about, they are original people from Ondo, because there's an existential threat to indigenes. So indigenes must be the ones protecting themselves, because the government has failed to do so. The state government is not doing so. And so there needs to, but the citizens need to demand it of the governors, the senators, and the House of Rep. And there will be consequences if that doesn't happen. So thank you all again. And we'll see you back here next week, same time. And with more hard-hitting topics and lots and lots of support, so that everyone can see we're not making these things up. These are plain facts. So thank you all very much.
Thank you.
We will be ending the stream now and the recording, and wishing everyone a great weekend and a great rest of the weekend. And
you too.
See you back here again.
Thank
you very much. And I'm going to say goodbye to everyone that is on the live stream for joining us today. We appreciate you, and please continue to join us and do share this information as widely as you can, because this is the only place that you do get to find this information in one place. So good night and God bless.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye, Jane. Talk later.
Okay.
We'll catch up
Yeah,
with you guys.